was that last straw? It was like, we need to sit down with a counselor.
I was looking up. I was literally Googling how to file for separation, and I kid you not, some way, somehow, intensive Christian counseling popped up in my phone. I don't know how. I was not looking for it. It was like I was looking for the exact opposite in some kind of way. I guess some type of pop-up or what do you call it? Advertisement or whatever popped up. And that is when I was like, okay, I didn't want to do that because I'd already made up in my mind that I wanted to separate, but I clicked on it. And so then for me, I was like, okay, whatever, but I then decided I wanted to go and talk to one couple that I knew I could trust. Like, if I couldn't trust anybody else, I knew I could trust this couple. And like I said, like for me, by the time I wanted to talk, it was too late.
So we got to remember, before we were already living as a separate, just separate, period. I took on, I went to school for getting more training, and just with the company, and I was actually living in Florida.
But before we went and talked to the Shepherds, you weren't in Florida yet. You weren't in Florida that first time.
Okay. Yep. You're right.
Yeah.
We weren't.
Yeah.
I wasn't.
The very first time, we, were still both in Georgia, but separated. And I reached out to the couple that I felt like, okay, I can trust this couple, and, called them. It was like after Christmas, I think, a couple of days after Christmas. Yep. And so we met there separately in separate cars, and they're the one that said, we think you guys need to go see this particular, couple. They do intensive counseling. And because I'd already, found that pop-up or whatever that came on my phone about what intensive counseling is, that's when, I was like, oh, I've heard of that. There's this, or I think I may have told them about it, and so intensive counseling is very different from just your, hourly, weekly, or monthly counseling. And so they suggested that that we go and talk to this couple and do an intensive with them, and our lives changed. Yeah. When we went to go and talk to them.
Can you give us some of the methods of the intensive counseling?
Yeah.
Yeah, you there for. I didn't mean like that, but like you're there for like
anywhere from 2 to 5 days.
Yeah, but you're actually like no going back home. You're living there, and you're like wake up, counseling, go to sleep, counseling. Different.
You say it like that.
I mean, it wasn't like a jail or anything.
Oh gosh!
But it just was. The name intense.
Well, yeah, the main difference between intensive counseling and then just your traditional counseling is that intensive really is you don't have an opportunity to go back home, or a week goes by where you are, this happens, that happens, and then when you get back, when your hour is up, you got to stop. And you got to wait until next week and try to pick back up. But all this stuff has happened in between. Like, intensive is really like nonstop intensive counseling on the deeply rooted issues that you're dealing with. And so that's what we did. And we've done it twice. And, it's like we've had more counseling in the past 6 months than we've had in 12 years of marriage. Right. And it's like been life-changing.
Yeah.
But they address so many different things. Like, it's just amazing how you learn more about
who you are,
traumas, and who you are, and different childhood traumas and things that you've experienced that really have poured into your marriage. And so the things that you're experiencing within your marriage are just a fruit of the deeply rooted issues that you have faced or experienced maybe in your past. So a lot of people don't like to dig up the past or talk about the past or acknowledge the past because they feel like, well, it's the past. But this was different for us because it really taught us. I think the unawareness of things sometimes is what brings pain, because you're unaware that you're experiencing something because of this. And so for us, like, the awareness of so much, like, just set us free.
Intensive was just what it was. It was intense. We learned a lot about each other. I think understanding what wounds were, and I didn't know what a wound was. I mean, of course, you know when you cut yourself and all that good stuff, but like deeply rooted issues that were like open through your childhood. And I know for me, understanding why I did certain things and it was presented because you had this and this happened to you, this trauma happened to you. Mm-hmm. I learned a lot, but it wasn't until like we sat and had that like straight, like, look, this is the nitty gritty.
Yeah.
And when we sat and talked about it, and just the awareness was there.